Active, a podcast started to empower women to find their own active adventure. Today's guest is someone who truly knows how to turn setbacks into strength and pain into power. Kristina didn't just step into fitness, she rebuilt her way into it. After serious injuries early in life, she became determined to understand how the body moves, heals, and grows stronger. She's the founder of KFIT, a studio built on the belief that there's no one-size-fits-all in movement, because every body has its own story to tell. She helps people train smarter, move better, and live stronger without forcing themselves to fit in a mold. If resilience had a workout plan, Kristina would be coaching it. Kristina, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I've been so excited after I read your bio to do this.
Well, thank you.
Yes. I wanted to kind of start at the very beginning. How did you become an active person?
Wow. Well, honestly, it just goes back. I played sports growing up. I started playing soccer at, I think, 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And I never really stopped. And then it just continued on all the way through high school and then even a little bit into college. And then I just kind of stayed active. I had active parents also growing up, and we did a lot of outdoor activities too. Mm-hmm. And, just doing all of that, I was constantly moving. So that's really how it all started. It was really just in soccer.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What school did you play for?
I played at Arlington High School, and then I played up at Skagit Valley College before my body took a turn and I couldn't play anymore.
Okay. Well, we just have to get into that. So what happened?
Okay. So, I think it was going all the way back. Like, I played a lot of soccer. Like, in high school, I was playing select soccer. I made varsity as a freshman, and the seasons were overlapping. Mm-hmm. I was playing soccer 7 days a week and doing 2-a-day practices, and it was so much. I ended up spraining my ankle, and then at the end of the season, I ended up getting a girl falling on me. Oh, wow. I broke my back, and I tore the labrum in my hip as a freshman. I didn't know what really happened. Mm-hmm. I played through it. I actually got up and scored a goal immediately after, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I think it's just all the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And when I say I broke my back, it's just the spinous process, like on the back part.
Just.
But for 2 years, doctors were like, you're fine, just renew physical therapy. Mm-hmm. For over 2 years. So I was going to physical therapy like before school. And then it finally came to a head my junior year. I was like, wow, I'm still in pain. And finally, a doctor was like, you should probably get an MRI. Yeah. And then I needed hip surgery, is what they said. I tore the labrum in my hip, and they would go in and clean it up. And they said I would be good as new and be able to play come after senior year, basically. I'd be good to play into college. Uh-huh. I was like, great. So December senior year, I had hip surgery.
Yeah.
Recovery went great-ish. I slowly built up strength. They're like, oh, you don't need physical therapy now. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
6 months after surgery, it retore.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then
the chills.
and then I wasn't even doing anything crazy. It was it was a pop, and then I was like, oh, that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And then it was like a month after that, I had a college recruiter from Skagit Valley College reach out and be like, hey, you want to play soccer? You'll get free schooling. And I was like, well, let's find out.
Yeah.
And so I did. I made the team. But at the end of the season, I was miserable. I hurt so much. It was too much. And like at that time, I had already kind of made the choice that I wanted to learn how the body worked. But yeah, I had to make the hard choice that like I can't keep playing soccer, at least at a competitive level like that, because my hip could not keep up with it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how it all came to be. And so, that's why I had to stop really playing after college.
That's crazy. So, like, were you bedridden for a while for, like, that? Or no?
No.
No. So you didn't rest.
I mean, I did. But honestly, for the most part, it wasn't, like, anything bedridden, like, pain-wise. I think the most pain I was in was probably my freshman year. It was when I remember being on, like, pain meds and just not being there, like, for a little bit after my initial injury. But even after hip surgery, they want you up and moving pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wasn't bedridden at any point in time.
Yeah.
It was just always like, I always felt off. I always felt wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the big one, is I always felt off, and then I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. I couldn't play soccer. So what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big one. I was like, oh my gosh, my entire life was built around soccer. Like, what do I do? It was like, it really was like, I don't know what to do with my hands moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
That's wild. I know, like, especially when you really self-identify as, like, your sport. I mean, I struggled with that, like, after I left college from running, just like, who am I if I'm not running, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. Like, how did you deal with that then?
I went to kind of a dark place. I think this was really where I had my first mental health realization, where I was like, looking back, I was like, wow, I was actually depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this was like, I mean, it was after the fact. I just knew I was like having a hard time. I didn't realize it until afterwards. But like, I know I was like almost like eating more. It was almost like a binge eating. Like, it was just I was unhappy. My relationships were struggling around me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until really I decided to really like change all of that and actually try and get moving again, that things really turned around. But it was like a really tough, like probably year and a half time where I was like really struggling, because I identified all around this, and I was constantly moving or working out in that sense.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I just stopped. Like, and then as any person who you're like, you were doing all this and then you just stop. And then it's like, there's the team camaraderie where it's like, you're together, and that almost gives that motivation of working out or being together. And like, we're all in this, we're running together, doing these things. And it's like, so it's easier to do those things. And I didn't have that anymore.
Right.
Like, now what?
Right.
So it was like, it took a little bit to figure out what was going on and then really find my groove again.
Yeah. No, I totally identify with that too, because like when you're on a team, it's kind of like built-in friends too.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do I make a friend if I don't talk about a sport? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
You're like, who am I without this?
But so what got you moving again, and like, what were you doing?
Well, I think it was the change of scenery. I moved away from my hometown, and I was starting like the second half of my schooling. So I originally, I got my first couple of years of school done.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I also have a strong tie to wanting to do manual work, like massage therapy.
Okay.
And so I was like, I really want to go to massage school. And what made the most sense is actually moving down south towards Tacoma and living with my godparents. And it was living there and not really having anybody. I didn't have any friends down there.
Yeah.
It was starting this new thing. But it was also like, I was like, well, let me try running. Yeah. Let me try running again. So I remembered like I would do like little runs around the neighborhood. Like I literally like wasn't even a mile. And I was like, let me just do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more and more. And then so funny, because I think about it now, is like I did P90X. Yeah. Like like anybody who knows like what is it, Tony Horton or something like that. I don't know. It was just like one of those things that I was like, okay. And then I was in massage school and I wrapped that up. I ended up joining a gym. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is feeling really good. I got my personal training certification.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was like, this is like, I need to know more. I need to know more, because like I'm finally things are starting to click on like, wait, why wasn't I doing this before in my rehab? Wait, hold on. What about this? And so then I was like, okay, hold on. I need to go get my bachelor's in this, because I wasn't really sure if I was going to do that at first. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, let's get a bachelor's. And guess what? Immediately after, I was like, I need to know more. I went and got my master's. Yeah. And even then I was like, I need to know more. So it was really though, it was like, it just started from like a point of like, I really didn't have much at that time, and I was like, well, let's just try something. But it just was a slow process. It really was. It was like barely being able to run a mile, which in soccer you run a lot, like, and so it was like just starting at one spot and then building up again, and then figuring out what really worked for my body. I found that like running felt great, yes, but actually just running wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I needed to do more. And that's where I was like, I had just started doing that P90X to fill in some of the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's been a fun adventure since then. Definitely grown since then.
Yeah. So I guess like going back to your injury, is that kind of like what, like the connection, or I guess the through line from your sport and then kind of your learning about kind of growing this business, what turned into this business?
Yeah.
Was that kind of like that was trying to figure out like what you could have done better, or like why you had those issues? Was that kind of like a motivator for you?
Yeah, it really was. Like, I just, even now, like, this is like why I do what I do. I see people leaving physical therapy and being like, well, now what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I do? Or like, they don't feel safe enough to work out, or they're like, wait, I never thought about how to incorporate those things from physical therapy so that they don't happen again.
Yeah.
And like, how do we tie it all together?
Mm-hmm.
So it was really like, I was like, wow, like I wanted to learn more. At one point I wanted to go for my doctorate of physical therapy, but like, you know, times change, things, circumstances changed. And honestly, I was like, this is honestly the best place for me to be.
Right.
So yeah, it really was the driving point. And then I've been in the fitness industry for a while, and I've been in small little boutique studios.
Okay.
I've worked at the YMCA. Mm-hmm. I've worked at, you know, big, you know, franchise studios. Mm-hmm. I've worked at the big box gyms like CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of everything, mm-hmm. but nothing ever quite felt right.
Yeah.
A lot of times I would see like workouts like, you know, for example, CrossFit, or even just to name one like Orange Theory, like they're very like, this is how it's done, or they would almost limit how coaches can coach.
Yeah.
And so when I was a coach, I was like, well, I don't like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't, and like, or I don't have the tools to be able to help this person, like, because they actually need to do something different. Like, this doesn't align with their body. And so that was really what was the driving factor to open up like my own studio, is I can do what I know based off of what I've learned and current research to help people.
Right.
And actually be able to, for them to see better progress, and for them to finally get rid of that like nagging knee pain they've had for 20 years that like, it's like, that shouldn't be there, you know?
Yeah.
And if they just did like simple little things just to add in to help, you know? So that was really the big one, is like, I've learned all of this and I've had experience in other places, but it just, nothing felt quite right. And so that's why I started this.
Yeah. No, that makes so much sense. And like, it really touches on like, for me, like, having these like little injuries, it's just knowing the fact that there is some sort of solution that I just haven't like come up with yet. Like that's what kind of is the frustration point, and especially with a lot of people who don't know that. Like, at least I know that there's like these exercises that if I just did them, like this isn't like I hate the term like my bad knee or something like that. It's like there is things that you could do. You just need to find what works for you. So it's kind of like your studio, like bridging the gap between like the PT to like like lifting, basically, is kind of like how I see it. Like,
oh, exactly.
Yeah. So like, because okay, the PT, those are like very elementary and like exercises, and then I feel like you can like get stronger, but it's just like knowing how to get stronger using like those what's that term, like when you do modifications on exercises, so like you're kind of working through the modifications like until they can fully, I guess, realize the actual, like, for example, like squats or something like that, like going through the motions until they can kind of
like
get
progressing
there.
through them.
Yeah, progressing. Yeah, exactly. And so like when you started this out, how did you like explain this to people that, you know, haven't been to your spot before?
Yeah, well, basically it was just that. I like to say it's like, did you quote, graduate physical therapy, but you're like still feeling like you're too, either one, nervous to even go into a gym because it can be so intimidating. Yeah. Two, you're like, well, how do I incorporate that into a program? Or I always tell people it's like, well, or if you're like, well, my knee pain's not quite bad enough for physical therapy, or how do I even I can't incorporate physical therapy and working out into my schedule. Like, I can't do it all because we have only so much time in a day.
Yeah, totally.
And so I always tell people, it's like, I can find ways to work within where your body is at currently. Because like you had said, like progressing from a squat, like I always joke and say there's 1,000 different ways to do a single exercise.
Yeah.
We just have to find the spot where your body is at now.
Yeah.
And then how do we get stronger in that spot to get you towards your ultimate goals?
Yeah.
Like even if it's just being like doing a squat without pain.
Yeah.
Or whether it's, I have somebody wanting to hike without knee pain. Like it's as simple as that.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
and so it's just trying to just tell people like, just wherever you're at, filling in that gap. And honestly, if you're struggling or even just wanting to train for like just life, because like even if you're just like that weekend warrior parent, you don't have anything crazy, but just something that you're wanting to do and just be active, like maybe it's the right fit. Because a lot of us, we always have some sort of ache and pains.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, I really feel like we all do. We always, like you said, like the bad knee, or like, I know, like me, I'm like, oh, the hip, ankle, the back, like.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if that's like you, it's like, okay, well, like all those things, and you want to be able to build on that.
Yes.
That's where I come in.
Yes. When you're working with clients, I was going to call them customers.
That's okay.
When they're coming to you, are they coming to you because they've had some sort of injury and then they're coming from like a PT, or are they just like just coming because they want to be stronger, or just like a mix of like?
It's probably a good mixture of both.
Okay.
I have clients kind of across the board, or they just feel like they're super stiff is one, where it's like, they're like, I'm not injured per se, but I just feel super stiff. Like, and I don't know if I can do the quote traditional exercises. So they're looking for somebody to make sure, like, help them think outside the box. I have several people who've, runners with knee pain, or, a lot of moms with cores, they can't quite figure out yet postpartum. And they're like, well, like, I feel like I need help with this, but I still want to like work out often and get that help. So the biggest thing is that they want someone there for them. They want not just like the knowledge, they want the accountability, but I think more than anything, they want like the support and somebody helping them to see that, am I doing this right? Is the big question. I'm really like, is my form right? And I was like, yeah, it's great. Like, you look great. If it was wrong or doing something dangerous, I'd tell you. But honestly, I think that's the biggest thing, is they just want the support. Or if they're like, the immediate stuff too is like, a lot of it's like, wait, this feels off. And then that's when I jump in. I'm like, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, this is what we need to do. And so, I mean, it's a mixture of everybody. That's really it. But I mean, the biggest thing is that like, people who come to me they're looking for that help more in person, I think. I do some virtual stuff, but like more people are wanting like the in-person work more than anything right now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have a friend who's like working through like I know you said there's multiple ways to do like an exercise, like, and her thing is like, she's trying to like work through doing like a squat, and she's had a lot of issues with like mobility in her like ankles, sort of. So like her squat might not look like my squat, but there's still like exercise happening, you know what I mean? Like we're still like working through that. And not that I'm like training her in any sense of the word, but we just like work out together. So I think there's like a big thing about her need, like you said, like people needing somebody there just to like look at them and be there with them. And I also think there was a good point you made earlier about like the gym can be like super intimidating, and like if you're going by yourself and it's really busy and people are all doing stuff and like grabbing weights and like you're not exactly sure and you don't want to like kind of get in the mix right away, it's nice to have like an intermediary to like have somebody help you through that, or like know what you're going to get yourself into at least, like before you hit the gym with all those people, because I'm sure people like work with you sometimes and then maybe doing some things on their own at times too, but like that makes it really a little bit easier to stomach going into it, because like sometimes I'll get to a machine and I'm like, what is this? You know,
you're like, you see the picture and you're like, I still don't get it.
That's happened to me a ton.
No, I think it's so many things. I think it's a combination of like you see these people in there and you're like, well, they know what they're doing. I can guarantee only like some of them know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Two, I think part of it too is that like social media is such a great thing. I mean, one, that's how we got connected.
Yeah.
But two, I think you see these people and you're like, oh my gosh, I could never do that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, how do we make it like where you are at? And then can we eventually progress there?
Yeah.
And so it's really just like having somebody actually help you where you're at.
Right.
Like that's the big one. It's just like, I mean, like I said, love social media sometimes though.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, yeah, all of these things are so intimidating. And it's just like, that's why I love working with people who are like, they haven't worked out in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh my goodness, I have the sweetest gal who just started last week.
Yeah.
Never worked out before ever.
That's so
She's
cool,
like
though.
in her mid-40s.
Yeah.
And she was so nervous. I swear she was like shaking when she first like came in just for a consult.
Oh,
and I'm just like, I know, I just want to just like give her a hug. I was
know.
like, I got you. And then I was like, I unfortunately, I'm like, I'm all full for personal training, but like maybe we can get you in a class somewhere because I still want to work with you.
Yeah.
And like, it's just one where it's like, I also was like, I just care so much. And I was like, I also know I can help this person.
Yeah.
And I'm scared because like I know I can do the things, but I'm also scared like somebody else can't quite get them to like care for them as much. And like I also really just love working with the beginners who are just so scared of those things because like I want to make it feel less scary. And like I always joke too, it's like it's a terrible business model, but I want you to need me less.
Yes.
I had a client for a little bit. And she was driving all the way from Mount Vernon to see me. But it was about a year process where she was seeing me every week. Yeah. And then we were every other week. Yeah. And then once a month. Yeah. And then just online work. So I was like, it was to get her comfortable with those things. But it just takes a little bit. And I know, like you said, gyms are intimidating. It just takes a little time, though.
Yeah, exactly. So you are just recently postpartum too. I mean, relatively, that's really exciting.
I had my daughter about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that go? Like post, like we're getting back into exercise again, like with your hip and everything else too.
I remember after all my injuries, my mom, because I mean, I'm one of 5. And so I have a lot of siblings. My mom always being like, I don't know how your back or hip will do, with pregnancy. And I always just like brushed it off and it'll be fine, which honestly it was. But I think part of it was because of working out as I have. And I did my last workout 3 days before I had her. And then I was hiking the day prior. Yeah. Like, so I think being active during, but I remember postpartum thinking it should be easier. Yeah. But I also I try to really go into it with the idea that the bounce back thing is just not, I try to really hard not to have that. But I also there's so much pressure of oh, I'm a fitness instructor. It should be there. But it was one where I was very grateful for time off and just being able to just relax and just, bond with my baby. Yeah. And it was a slow process. I'm very grateful for my in-laws. My in-laws actually live with us. And so being able to have that support so then I could have the little bit of time. But then also getting used to, how do I work out with her there? Yeah. And then it grew into, okay, well, getting her comfortable in strollers for walks. Yeah. And then it grew into runs. But honestly, I didn't run for, quite a while. Yeah. I did go to, a pelvic floor physical therapist after, which also highly encouraged for any woman. Yeah. Because one, I gained so much knowledge. I didn't have any complications, but I just wanted to make sure, I was good to go. Yeah. But yeah, returning to fitness was really hard. It was a lot harder than I anticipated. Not necessarily physically. It was more the mental part. Mm-hmm. But I'm very grateful for the sport I had. But it took a long time. It was honestly probably 1.5 years until I finally actually was oh, there we go. Yeah. And then I actually started doing the things I loved and started doing races again. And but it took a long time. And I'm just also trying to appreciate that time of life though. It's an amazing time, but it's also a very hard time. Yeah. So, but no, just getting back into fitness, I was just I try just being as patient as possible. Yeah. And if you want me to cut this, I can, but what part of it, mentally was hard for you? Was it, I have no concept because I do not have children. That's okay. Yeah. The mentally hard part was just more of sleep.
Okay.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I could nap or I could work out.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard of a choice when you're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so I have so many moms, I'm just like, honestly, sleep is going to do better for your body than a workout is right now.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. It's just the sleep. It's so hard. So, that's the biggest thing. That was honestly just the hardest part. It's just the sleep, because she did not sleep well for like the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And then it was just, and then going back to work, I've always been the early shift. So I start work at like 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And if she's up in the night too, you just don't sleep.
Nope.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm a professional napper now.
Yeah. Just up for 24 hours.
No, that was honestly the hardest part.
Yeah.
That was it. It was just sleep.
Yeah.
And I think any parent out there, it's just sleep. Sleep is so hard.
Yeah.
You never realize how much it affects every single aspect of your life until you only get like 5 broken hours.
Yeah.
For like months on end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
It is. Like I said, love her to pieces, wouldn't change a thing, but that is tough.
That sounds hard.
Yeah.
So like, what are you working on now that you're kind of in a space that you have a little bit more time?
So I've kind of shifted gears a little bit. I'm kind of taking a step back right now. I've had a couple of weird injury things come up. I think my hip is back on the decline, unfortunately. So I've had to take a little bit of a step back from competing. Last year was so much fun. I actually did my first regatta. I did rowing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I tried that out and loved the sport. It's just like a team sport. I loved it. And being competitive again was great.
Yeah.
I used to do Spartan races all the time. I was able to do 2 last year.
Yeah.
I was also able to do a couple 10Ks and get my 10K back under, like, I'm not a fast runner. I'm a long distancer. Like, so it's like never been fast. So getting under like an hour was like a dream.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so like, those are the things I did last year, but I think this year I'm going to try and I'm refocusing on a little bit more of, my strength, because I think my hip is finally to the point where I might need a little bit more help than what I can provide. Yeah. But I also know that, I had surgery 16 years ago, and after I told you before, like they said I retore it 6 months after the first one, and they said I would probably need another, and that was when I was like, no, thank you. And I've been able to put it off 16 years. Yeah, so I'm very grateful for that. But I think right now I'm just trying to work through that, and it doesn't help to, having a toddler in the house and tripping over a toy and spraining an ankle 2 weeks ago. So I think honestly, those are the things right now that I'm just working on. Yeah. And then, I have 2 stepkids. Yeah. And they're trying new sports, and so also trying to keep up with them in those sports. You're
so busy.
Like, because like I played soccer. We actually coach their soccer teams, which is great. So but now they want to try new sports, and I'm like, you want to play volleyball and do taekwondo? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Yeah. I am going to have to learn so much right now. Yeah. And so I'm kind of just refocusing on those things.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And you're like trying a bunch of different things, which is like totally what this whole podcast is about. So that's all. So awesome. I really want to try jiu-jitsu this year. I said it that I'm going to do it. Have not done it yet, but so taekwondo, that sounds really cool too.
I worked at a jiu-jitsu gym when I was a massage therapist for a little bit, and it is very cool. Definitely should try it.
Yeah. It's very, again, speaking of intimidation, like I'm very intimidated to just go to a random gym. Like I would much rather like go with somebody that I like knew the ropes a little bit, but that's part of the challenge. So,
it is.
Yeah.
Just send it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
There's the Mel Robbins like 5-second rule. Have you heard of it? Mm-mm. Count to 5 seconds. By the time you hit to 1, you have to just click the enter button and book that class. Yeah. And so that's what I tell people too. It's like, if you're even thinking about it, just like, what's the worst that's gonna come out of a consult? Yeah. You find more information, find out if you're ready for it or not. Mm-hmm. And if you're not, that's okay. Yeah. And that's okay. But like, just do it. Yeah. That's the best thing, right? And then once you do it, it's getting into consistency, and then it's a new thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. I need to just do it. I know, it's like the things that because I said this a billion times, so everybody knows this, but I had my appendix rupture last 2 years ago now. No, I think in July it'll be 2 years. So anyways, because of that, I've had like a very slow coming back to because I was out for probably 4 months with like tubes in and stuff like
Oof.
that. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh.
I waited too long to go to the hospital. That's basically
Okay.
Yeah. So I am now training again, but like because I was like not moving for so long, like trying to get back in, I ramped up too quick, and then I like had little injuries going on. So it's just like, so this year I was trying to do another 50K at the end of the year, but now like thinking about that, I'm like, maybe I'll just try to put myself in a race. Period.
Yeah.
You're
like, maybe we take that into more bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Why did I say that I was going to do that? So we'll see. But anyways, yes, that's so cool that you're trying a bunch of different things and like you're just going to do them. So I think that kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's scary, but like you said, just doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's really awesome. And you're doing it with your kids too. I mean, that's
a whole nother
cool.
level of special.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be kind of like challenging too, because you're trying something new and then you're having to have an audience of people that know you. So that's probably.
I think the hardest one is going to be trying to like actually practice volleyball with my daughter. It is. I played soccer for a reason. I don't have hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
So just if you're in the area, maybe cover your head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that will be fun. I played volleyball in high school, but I ended up quitting for track because I wanted to do track. But yeah, it was. It's a like really fun sport. I would probably want to play like beach volleyball over like just regular volleyball, but I think it'd be fun.
That's cool.
But hopefully if your hip is feeling up for it too, because you do have to kind of like get down.
I gotta figure all those things out. So.
Yeah. So what is the deal? Like, are you gonna have to get surgery this year then?
I'm really hoping not.
Okay.
Right now, I've refocused my workouts so that it's basically half of it's kind of rehab.
Okay.
And then I actually do my workout as well.
Okay.
I've stopped running right now, and instead I'm doing more like resistance walking.
Uh-huh.
So, and we're going on like a bike or a rower, like just something that's not quite as intensive.
Yeah.
Just to kind of just take a step back.
On that joint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Just to kind of get it a little easier on the joint. Yeah. And then if I'm still having issues, and I've kind of set a mark so it was like at the beginning of this year, I kind of was like, okay, I set a mark where it's like, okay, by June, if I'm still having issues, I'm actually going to go see somebody for it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, I know these things. Yeah. I just need to do them. And so that's why I was like, I'm refocusing on that. Yeah. So, because,
that's hard.
It's like when you're like, I know I should do these things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I do this for a job. I know I need to do these things. So I'm just, instead of like trying to go for a different race, I did all the things I wanted to last year, which is an amazing feat.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Yeah, but now I'm like, okay, let's just take a step back and do the things that, what I tell people to do. Yeah. Let me actually do them. Yeah, exactly. And so that's my focus. Yeah.
I do have a question for you, because like I struggle with this all the time, because I have signed up for yoga. I have a membership for yoga. Okay. I have gone. But this is like the thing for me is I'm trying to build in like the PT type work into my lifts, like because I want to lift. I want to, like, I'm the person that like wants to do the thing, but if I have to do like these little things like rolling out or like doing yoga or all of the other things that kind of support your sport, I'm terrible with them. So like do you for yourself, you build in like the like stuff that you should be like the little things that you should be working on as like part of like your lifting, like I'm gonna lift and then I do these things?
These are actually like all part of it. So depending on what it is going to be, like I incorporate, okay, well, I know I'm going to try and do, say, deadlifts today. Yeah. So I need to make sure my hips are, rolled out. So, but you don't need to spend that much time. It only needs to be one spot. Yeah. Or if you have an area that is really bugging you, okay, just that one area. Yeah. And then your corrective exercises are part of your warm-up.
Yeah.
They should be part of your warm-up, but you honestly, corrective exercises shouldn't be a forever thing. They should just be some of the stuff, but it also can be targeted towards whatever the workout is.
Yeah.
But my entire workout isn't going to be deadlifts.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But it also is like, I know my hips need to work on. So, okay, well, maybe I'm not doing my heaviest deadlift today, but let me add a band around my knees to make sure that my hips are engaging as they're supposed to.
Okay.
So then this way it's another level on top that I know my body needs.
Yeah.
And it can also be too, okay, well, I know I'm trying to also just one of the strength things, like build up, because like I've never been able to do a pull up. I want to, I work it all the time, but like I'm like, okay, let me just do a bar hang. But I also know like hip flexors, like on the front of your hips, like, okay, let me do a bar hang, but also let me do some leg raises too with a band around my feet for extra resistance. And so I just add those little things in.
Okay.
And then like for some people, like I know one of my clients, like the 20-year knee pain. She wasn't necessarily having pain or anything, but like I threw a band around her knee, pulling it one way to help stimulate her glutes while she was doing lunges. And it's just, you can do little things like this just to incorporate it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, you don't want to make it so big that you don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because what sounds better, 30 minutes of work or 5? 5. So much better. And like it makes it seem so much, you're like, oh, I can do 5. Like anything over 5 you're like, okay. But if you do 5 you're like, okay, well, it's already part of what I'm doing. And if you're incorporating it even in other parts, like I said, like adding that little extra band or let's see what else. Doing like, okay, well, I'm gonna have you, like I have some people right now, we're learning, like they've overcome some shoulder stuff, but being able to go overhead, but I know their core has stuff, so I actually have them take a seat to focus on that. So it's like they actually get way more core work sitting down doing overhead press than if they're just standing up, because it takes a little bit more focus to actually keep things upright. So it just, you can just incorporate it in. And so sometimes it does take a little bit to like figure out how to fine tune it, but just incorporate it in.
No, I love that so much, because I think about that all the time when I'm just like my knees are a little bit tight, like just these little things, and then I like rolled out for like literally 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, I feel so much better.
Isn't that crazy? You're
know.
like, oh, like, this is nice.
I don't wake up and I'm like, oh, in the morning, like just gotta do these little things, but it's like hard to make it a part of your workout unless you like identify it as like, these are the workouts or the exercises I'm doing. This is one of my sets. You know what I mean? Like kind of a thing. Because like for me, I'm just like, if I make it separate,
it's harder to do. Yeah. And then just thinking though too, like you can go from doing nothing, but I'm working out 2 to 3 times a week. If you add 5 minutes to each of those, that's 15 minutes more than you were doing before. And it's really, honestly, it's about consistency. And because if you were to do 3 times in a week of even just 5 minutes spread out, it's still going to be better than 20 minutes just once in a 2 weeks time. And because really it's going to add up, and then it's going to be like, oh wait, I don't feel that nagging like tightness in your knee like you had said. And it takes time, but really honestly it's consistency, and it's little drops, and it's like just think about it as like a drip in the ceiling, right? You don't really know it's there at first, but you have like your little cup out, and then over time you're like, all of a sudden you look back without it because you don't really think about it. All of a sudden you're like, oh wow, it's full. Like, and then that's how it kind of adds up though. You're like, okay, you're not really like, you're like, okay, I'm doing the things, I'm doing them regularly. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, wow, it's I'm feeling so much better in this way. Or like, oh wow, that knee doesn't hurt anymore. Like, and so it does add up. It just, time and consistency.
Exactly. And doing all the things that I hate doing.
I know.
Like rolling out.
I mean, it's not always about rolling, but yes, rolling does feel fabulous.
No, I know. There's like, I'm also having this like tendonitis in my Achilles, which is or tendinosis. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, I have read about it, but I know there's just like simple things that I can be doing. If I do them consistently, it will get better, but I'm just choosing to do nothing instead, and just, I mean, I have like done like lifts, I guess, that there's, that's strengthening my soleus or I think that's right. I don't know.
That is one of the calf muscles.
Okay,
yes. Yeah. You were right on that.
Okay, good. Thank you. I feel accomplished.
You're like, yes.
Yeah, I know, exactly. This is a competition. Yeah. But yes, I've done like calf raises and things like that, and I've read about like doing it, like eccentric stuff and things like that. But it's just like you said, like doing the thing. Like you kind of have to. If for me, I need to incorporate it into something else. Otherwise, I'm just not going to. Like I just know myself, and and apparently, even though I'm paying for yoga, that has still not gotten me to yoga, which was one of my things for this year. I was like, oh, if I pay for it, I'm gonna definitely start going. And I like did for a couple weeks, but like I will be honest, I have not done it in a couple weeks because, those things add up, and I'm running every like 6 days a week, and then I'm lifting, and then working, and it's like one other thing to show up for where you
only have a finite amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if I put like those exercises into like what I'm doing, that like those stretches or whatever else, that will be like one of those things that I do before bed or whatever, because I like, it's one of those things too where core, like I have a coach who she's a friend of mine, but she coaches me for running. And there's so much more value in other things than doing core, but we're really focused on doing core sometimes, you know what I mean? And so I just need to find a way to call those other things like my core, and it's not core at all.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, it's still going to be all the other things.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Need to like gaslight myself a little bit on like what these exercises are for.
Like I said, just a little bit, like incorporate it. Like before you go for a run, you do these exercises, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or like, oh, you get to yoga early, and oh, let me do a couple stretches that are extra that I know we may not cover, or let me go awkwardly stand on my mat and do some calf raises. Like,
exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So just little things.
Yeah. So I did want to ask you, like, our question that we ask everybody who comes on the podcast is like, what words of empowerment would you give other women, maybe to be consistent or to keep going or really start something new? Like, what words would you give them?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's several different things. I feel like one, getting started is the hardest part. And so finding support to get started, whether that is a trainer, a friend, even, it can be as small as like telling your kid that you're going to do it. Like it's just having support or just finding something that works for you. So support is going to be the probably number one factor. And then from there, just finding what works for you consistency wise. Because like I said, it's just going to be like consistency. 5 minutes is still better than nothing.
Yep.
Right. And so just doing what you can with where your body is at now. And even, life is always going to throw curveballs.
Yep.
Like life is unpredictable. It's kind of one of the things that makes life so beautiful, right? It's always changing, which sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I had this planned, or I was going to do this. Like you said, you were going to try and do this like 50K.
Yeah.
And then things came up and you're like, oh, what about this? But it's like, meet your body with where it's at. And then you can grow from there. Or like, so for example, too, like I sprained my ankle 2 weeks ago, but it's like, and I was like, okay, well, I can still show up. I'm not going to train my ankle right now or my lower leg. I can still do upper body things. I can still do lower body things. So it's training where your body's at now. And doing those things and just being okay with that. Right. And it's like being where you're at, not comparing yourself to others.
Yeah. Because
really, nobody's really looking at what you're doing when you're at a gym. It is one of those, they're like, oh, well, there's mirrors. They're probably looking at me. I was like, probably not.
Yeah.
Honestly. They're not looking at you. People are focused more on themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, just get started. Even if it's a little thing.
Yeah.
And then, just take little baby steps. That's what it's all about. Like the people that have been going to gyms or have those big success stories, they didn't do it overnight. It really was just consistency day in, day out for years. And that's how they got there. And so it's just getting started. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally true about like getting started too, because after I hadn't been injured for a really long time, and like after I had my appendix rupture and like trying to get started again, it was very hard, like from just doing nothing. So it's like I look up to people so much for just starting something. That's a huge step.
Yeah. That's like the biggest thing. I know there's, so the book, The Atomic Habits, it just talks about like how there was this gentleman who he wanted to go into the gym, but like he was so scared to go in, but he started the habit by just driving and sitting in the parking lot. Like that's a start though.
Yeah.
Like, and it can just be like, okay, well, we do that for a little bit. And then, okay, well, maybe you go in and do like 5 minutes on like the treadmill, and then you do a little bit more. And then, oh, maybe we like explore with weights, and okay, now I want to know more about weights. So let me talk to a trainer. And then it's like, oh, well, this is what I can do now. And like, and then it just keeps growing and building. And you're like, oh, wait, wow, I'm feeling so much stronger. Yeah. But then it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Like I hurt myself doing this, or like, oh no, like, you tripped on a toy. Yeah. Like, okay. And then like, this is where again, like you can like accommodate with where your body's at and pivot. And then guess what though? The more you're at it, honestly, the faster the body returns. Like it's really cool. There's a study that came out where it's like, you can be, if you're consistently working out for like 10 weeks and then say something comes up and you're off for 5, you will actually return to where you were at the end of the 10 weeks way faster than, previously. Yeah. I always say it's like just shift. Yeah. Just shift where you're at, and then it'll all return. Like the body remembers. The nervous system is so cool. Yeah. Like even just like a kid learning to ride a bike. Yeah. Like, or it's like it's so wobbly, but then you can always like get back on a bike, and it's like, you know, like that whole like quote of like, it's like riding a bike. You just get back on it. It kind of is though. Your nervous system like has those pathways that it's like, and that's why so often, like you were saying, like you even said it earlier. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I went and like tried to do this thing, and you were like, I think you overdid it or something. And it's like, because your body remembers, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. Yes. And your muscles are like, whoa, hold up, but we haven't done that yet. Exactly. And so, like it's just getting those built up and then getting back into it. But it always starting out a little bit slower at the beginning. Yes. Right. And building back up. Yeah. To do it safely. Yeah. And not re-injure yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And actually, if you are hurt, make sure you take your rest instead of pushing through things.
Yes. So rest is very important. Like it's going to help with just, I mean, obviously inflammation is actually, they're changing even how we do, you know, the whole like RICE, where it's like rest, ice, compression, elevate. Oh yeah. They're actually changing that. And so they changed it a little bit, but one of them is like doing a little bit of movement once like it feels okay, but not pushing through pain. Okay. And that's like why like I say like pain-free training is like, obviously like if you hurt yourself, yes, rest and like don't push through it. Right. Like you should never push through it. It's literally your brain's like built-in like safety net of saying, don't do this. Yeah. Like, and so, but yeah, you always stay out of pain. Like it's like, that's why it's like we find ways around pain, or if you're injured, don't do that. Yes. Exactly. Like taking those rest times, and even just like not like, oh gosh, speaking of rest, I can go on about that too. Yeah. Taking rest days. Yeah. Like speaking of, you said 6 days a week of running. Yeah. It's kind of a lot, lady. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's a hard thing for me to like to rest, but I am working on getting better and identifying like when I start to get sick. You know what? If you actually take a day off when you're starting to get sick, you don't get as sick. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's so cool.
Crazy how your body works, huh?
I know, not overdoing it. Yes. Yes. So, I mean, it's listening to your body. It's like, yes, it really is. It's just being intentional and listening to your body. Okay, if there's pain, don't do that. Yeah. If you're tired, don't do that. If you're feeling sick, don't do that. Yeah. Because, so often I see people who are even like, if they are sick and they try and push through, no. And it doesn't go well.
It doesn't. And it just lingers longer, and then you're sick longer, and you feel crappy when you're training. Like it just, and I'll have to probably tell myself this next time I start feeling sick. I'll have to check in and be like, oh, you remember that one time when you didn't run through your sickness? Okay, yeah. So like, don't do that again. Yeah. I really am the worst. To be honest, yeah. It's like one of those things where we trained ourselves to push through. And then it's a hard thing to undo that. You know what I mean? Especially endurance sports.
Yeah. Trying to retrain the brain that it's like, well, hold up. Actually, resting's okay.
Yes.
Resting's okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. And especially, I feel like as soon as you hit 30, it's like you need to change it just a little bit. Honestly, like as much as I love running, because like when I was younger, it was like oh, I'm sad, frustrated, whatever. Like I'd go for a run, right? And so I mean, soccer, you run all the time, but I found that like once I hit over 30, like 3 days a week running sometimes was almost too much for me. Yeah, I actually do really well with my running, and I progress better 2 days a week. That's it. Yeah. I only run 2 days a week. Yeah. And it's just what works well for your body, but it's also listening to that and finding the balance.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. If people want to follow you or check out, I mean, I know you said you might be full for personal training, but if they want to potentially get on the wait list, like,
so I do have a wait list for personal training. Anybody's more than welcome to reach out. I usually do like a consultation to make sure that we're the right fit. Yeah. And if we're not, I do have a ton of resources to make sure that I can help you find somebody. Because the biggest thing is that I always tell people, like, I care so much. Yeah. Like, it's honestly one of the core values that I have is, like, I always tell people, like, my number one core value is heart. Yeah. Like, if you ever saw The Replacements, like the movie, did you? Yep. Okay. The heart. Yeah. Number one. And so it's like, if I feel like I'm not the right fit and I can't help you get there, I'm going to find somebody else. Yeah. So, like, let's do a phone consult and make sure that I am the right fit. Like, let's talk. But you can find me on Instagram, Training with Coach Kristina. Yeah. Or my website, KristinaFitStudio.com. On the website, you can book a consult, and it could just be a quick, like, 15-minute phone call just to, like, let's just talk. Let's see if we're the right fit. Yeah. I offer personal training, and I actually have small group classes. Oh, very cool. I love the class ones because it's, like, it's really that camaraderie, like, of the... Almost like it's going back to soccer, like the team all together and, like, people inspiring like the person next to you while still having like it small enough that you get that personalized approach. Yeah. So I offer both of those, but you can find me at either of those.
That's great. Yeah. So cool. Is there anything that you want to add that I have not asked you today?
No, my biggest advice is just for anybody. I think the technology is just getting more and more advanced. And like, while it brings so many wonderful things and so many new cures and all this amazing things, the biggest thing I'm seeing is just like less movement from people, and the more injuries, the more stiffness, the more aches and pains, and the more like we need to move. Yeah. And then also just like having an actual real person and not like an AI generated answer. Yeah. So a person actually like looking at you. So it's just like with all of those things, we need to move and we need to get support. Yeah. Is the biggest thing I can tell people.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I love that. You can follow me personally. That's at Jacalyn Gross, JacalynGross. You can follow Women in Power Active at Women in Power Active. And then we actually changed up our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this and you want to watch the video version, you can go on YouTube and go to Women in Power Active and give us a follow. The follows really do help, so please follow us. And then this video was produced by Jeremy Canaria and edited by me. Thank you so much, Kristina, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I love this. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yay. Okay. We did it.
Yes.